Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. You might think you're doing pretty well financially. You've got a good job, you've got a nice house, maybe decent income. But here's the truth: most people are only 3 bad financial decisions away from losing everything. And the scary part is that those decisions usually don't feel like mistakes at the time. They feel normal, they feel justified, they feel like things that everyone else is doing. But those decisions can quietly destroy your financial future. Before we get into it, though, I want to ask you something. I want you to comment below: what's the worst financial decision you've ever made? Maybe it was buying a car you couldn't afford, taking on bad debt, or investing in something that just went wrong. You guys know mine was turning down the rental property that my parents and grandparents were going to give me. But I just want you to drop it in the comments, because most people learn their biggest money lessons the hard way. Now, let's talk about the 3 financial decisions that can wreck almost anyone's finances. The first bad financial decision most people make is assuming their income will always be there. A lot of people build their entire lifestyle around their current paycheck. They buy a house, based on their salary. They buy cars based on their salary. They rack up monthly payments based on their salary. But here's the problem: income is never guaranteed. Jobs change, companies restructure, industries collapse, and the unexpected things happen in life. And when someone has built a lifestyle with no margin, one disruption can create a financial avalanche. Let's say someone loses their job, but they still have a $700 car payment, a $2,000 mortgage, credit card debt, student loans. Suddenly the pressure becomes overwhelming. This is why wealthy people, they emphasize financial margin. They spend less than what they make, and they build savings, right? They create income streams that don't depend on one single job, because they understand something. The moment your lifestyle depends entirely on one paycheck, you're vulnerable. The second bad financial decision that can destroy people financially is bad debt. I've talked about this a lot. Not all debt is equal. Some debt can actually help you build wealth. For example, with real estate that produces income, you can have debt on it. Business investments that generate profits. But the kind of debt that destroys people is consumer debt. Credit cards, luxury car loans, buying things that lose value the moment you buy them. Here's the dangerous part about bad debt: it doesn't feel dangerous at first. It feels convenient. You swipe the card, you finance the purchase, you tell yourself, I'll pay it off later. But interest is relentless, guys. And a credit card charging 20% interest is quietly working against you every single day. Instead of your money growing, your debt is growing. And the more debt someone carries, the less flexibility they have. Debt reduces your options. It limits your ability to invest, and it traps people in jobs that they just don't enjoy. And in some cases, it becomes the thing that pulls people into financial disaster. That's why one of the most important financial disciplines is learning to avoid bad debt whenever possible. The third bad financial decision that can cost people everything is something that many people don't even realize they're doing. They spend their entire lives buying things, but never buying assets. They buy stuff. They buy, cars and gadgets, clothes, all these different things, furniture, and vacations. But very, very little of that produces income. Very little of that grows in value, and eventually, people realize something very scary. They've spent decades working, but they haven't built anything that works for them. Assets are the things that protect your financial future. Things like stocks, rental properties, businesses, investments that grow and produce income over time. Assets create financial stability. Assets create financial freedom. Without assets, someone's entire financial life depends on their ability to keep working. And that's risky, right? Because life eventually changes. That's why wealthy people focus on buying assets consistently over time. Even small investments, when done consistently, can turn into massive wealth over decades. Here's the bigger lesson in all this, though. Financial disasters rarely happen overnight. They happen through a series of small decisions and a little too much spending, a little too much debt, not enough investing, not enough planning, and over time, those small decisions add up. But the good news is the opposite is also true. Small good decisions add up too. Spending less than you make, avoiding bad debt, buying assets consistently, building savings, thinking long term. Those habits create financial stability that protects you from the unexpected. Because when life throws challenges your way, and it will, believe me, it will. People with strong financial foundations can survive them. People without them will struggle. So remember this: most people aren't far away from financial trouble, but the goal isn't to live in fear of that. The goal is to build a financial life that is resilient, a life built on margin, discipline, and ownership of assets. Because when you build that kind of financial foundation, 3 bad decisions won't destroy your entire life. If you want to learn more about something that could be secretly costing you millions of dollars over your lifetime, make sure you click the video on the screen right here. It's called The One Guy That Could Be Costing You Millions. Go watch that next, and I'll see you in the next video.